The way we consume internet has undergone a dramatic transformation in the past 2 decades, with streaming services becoming a central part of daily life. Traditional television, radio, and movie-going experiences have been disrupted by digital platforms that offer on-demand access to a vast library of content. Streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, and YouTube have reshaped how people access, enjoy, and interact with media. And the rise of streaming has fundamentally changed the entertainment industry from how content is produced to how it is distributed and consumed. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Inside podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, the emergence of the internet as a means of video distribution is turning out to be among the most radical transformations the medium has ever seen, as television is embracing a new set of internet related technologies that combine cloud infrastructure with tools such as AI and machine learning, and of course, content delivery networks, CDNs. The medium is transitioning from broadcasting to streaming. Let's welcome Srividhya Srinivasan, co founder and chief technology officer Amagi, to talk about the changing patterns in streaming platforms and content management. Hi, Srividhya. Good morning. Welcome to our podcast.
Good morning, Priya.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. So I guess when we talk about streaming, I think, there's so much to talk about with how we have evolved as a consumer to how we are viewing Netflix and other streaming platforms and how easier it has become to, access and consume such type of content. We are, of course, going to talk a lot about it in our conversation today. But let's set the foundation by telling our listeners more about Amagi, its specialization, and alongside that, we would also like to know about you, Srividya, a little bit about your journey and your role towards the company today.
Yeah, definitely. Amagi is a cloud native media technology company. And basically, we connect people who produce content to the platforms that you described, right? Like OTT platforms, streaming platforms, fast platforms, and so on. So basically, if someone produces the content, for them to actually prepare the content in a way in which it can be consumed by these platforms and to distribute it, they will use Amagi. That's the whole thing that Amagi does. Today, we actually support 9,000 deliveries with about 600 content providers to 300 plus platforms. When I say platform, I mean platforms like Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, could be CTV platforms like Samsung TV Plus, Geo Hotstar, and so on and so forth. So today, Amagi is trusted by 45% of the world's top 50 media companies, and we serve a diverse ecosystem of content providers, content distributors, advertisers across 40 countries. My role in this company is that I'm a co-founder. I drive the technology vision and innovation, ensuring our platform evolves with changing industry dynamics. I work closely on integrating AI and providing AI-first solutions to our customers to make sure that we simplify their media operation and produce new revenue opportunities. That's exactly what we do.
Thank you for that fascinating overview, Srividya. And I think it really sets the stage for what we are going to discuss today, a little bit into deeper, of course. And I'm really glad to know about the company and the fascinating numbers that you shared with us. And of course, your role towards the company, how you're a key person shaping the vision, and of course, the strategies that should go align in achieving that mission. Moving ahead, now we have discussed, like initially we discussed about the streaming platforms and, you know, SVOD and AVOD have gained much attention in the last, I think, 6, 7 years. And they have actively contributed massive success to several streaming media platforms. One thing that is not being predicted is the rise of fast channels. There has been tremendous growth in fast streaming because of course people love watching free content without any prior commitment, and it has become a widely popular globally for several reasons, like free service and diversified content and much more. How would you describe the evolution of the fast and streaming ecosystem, and what makes it more complex than traditional broadcasting?
Yeah, so if you look at this TV industry, right? First, it was people were watching it through linear TV, then satellite TV, right? And then IPTV streaming. That's what people looked at. Then later on came that streaming, right? Like, and as you described, streaming has two parts. One is the subscription-based ward, another one is the consumption-based ward. But nevertheless, right, when someone like works all day and then comes back in the evening, most of the time they don't know what to watch. They just want to turn on the TV and watch something, right? And if that something is which is interesting to them, then they will watch more. So that's where fast comes in. So fast is basically, as you described, it's a free ad supported streaming TV. It's a new distribution model, right? And content is no longer distributed through single pipe, but across the OTT apps, right? And audience fragmentation has significantly increased. When I say fragmentation, I mean to say that now audience watch the content through connected TV, like a TV platform, or it could be through mobile, or it could be through a web application. Several ways in which people watch content, and that's what we call it as content fragmentation. And each platform, all these free TV platforms, the fast platforms, right? Whether it is Roku, whether it's Samsung TV Plus, whether it's Pluto, whether it's Tubi, all of them have their own technical requirements, compliance standards, and ad formats. So if somebody produces content, for them to adjust it and make it ready for all these platforms, it's a significant effort. So that is exactly the problem that we solve. The scale has exploded now with continuously you need to process, package, and optimize to deliver to these platforms. And the convergence of distribution, monetization, and personalization for the viewer makes this ecosystem more complex than a traditional broadcasting, which was giving the same feed to everyone.
That's a great perspective, Srividya. And, I think what stands out is how the shift from traditional broadcasting to streaming and fast has redefined control, moving it from networks to both platforms and viewers. And unlike the linear one to many model we saw with traditional TV, today's ecosystem is dynamic, data driven, and deeply personalized. Great.
Yes.
Let's build on that more, Srividya. I think when we talk from a business perspective, businesses are swarmed with a flood of real-time data coming from sources like websites, social media, digital activity. You have various sensors of the IoT connected devices, cloud technology, and the list keeps getting longer. The need for immediate analysis and customer insights has pushed the growth of this kind of data sky high. And with that comes an urgent need to swiftly gather valuable business insights from it. But it's not always a smooth process to collect and use this continuous flow of data. What, according to you, are the biggest challenges in content scheduling and management in today's streaming environment?
Right. Firstly, in case of streaming, right, the content is produced once and distributed to multiple platforms, right? So there is a large scale of content library across multiple platforms and formats. The second one is the scheduling strategies to fragmented and unpredictable audience behavior exists. And third one is basically figuring out what the viewer would watch, balancing a content discovery with viewers retention is a highly competitive environment. Now, in addition to this, handling the platform specific requirements for different formats, metadata, and compliance is another challenge. Right, and manual workflows. If everything has to be done manually in scheduling and programming, then it doesn't scale with the growth of the content. And therefore, it's very, very important to reduce the operational overhead while maintaining the quality and consistency.
Definitely, Srividya. And I think a lot of companies in the streaming ecosystem are facing these complex challenges because, of course, with data comes a lot of responsibility. I would say it's important that how we effectively utilize the data, of course, socially and responsibly as well.
Yeah.
Now, for example, it's so easier nowadays. You open Netflix and boom, you get to watch the same kind of thriller you were desiring for a long time. You freeze midway, move over to another device, and the story resumes with a playback issue, without a playback issue. Later, you get a pop-up saying that fresh release, just like what you like. And, we all think, is this a coincidence? But not a chance, We have already entered the era where AI takes over your binge watching routine. But if you assume it is just smarter suggestions or fewer loading screens, it's not true. In fact, it is about an intelligent engine silently transforming everything from the instant you touch the play button to the way streaming powerhouses create and commercialize content. So, if you could just describe a little bit about how AI is transforming content programming beyond just, recommendations and fast loading screens in the streaming ecosystem.
Yeah. So this in media, AI plays a very significant role, right? So using AI, you can automatically tag the content based on the category, right, or the genre, or any other metadata of the content, such as like cast and crew and so on. It can automatically find it out. Similarly, it allows for dynamic scheduling based on the real-time audience insights. For example, if I know that you watch a lot of thriller series, right, then it can automatically schedule those dynamic content to you. And all AI can identify key moments in a content and can give you a kind of a snippet or a teaser, which makes you interested in the content. So this is basically a short form clip or a highlight or a promo video could be done. Right. And orchestration of the channel itself can be more adaptive with AI based playlist and programming. And the content can be repurposed, right, like as micro drama or a vertical video, basically into monetizable assets, right. And AI reduces dependency on manual intervention in programming the workflows, and overall it shifts the whole thing from planning in a static way to a more dynamic way based on audience interest, and data driven optimizations are possible now. That's how it does, Priya.
Great, Srividya, and I think we shouldn't be undermining the power of AI particularly. Of course, we have witnessed the impact of AI across different industries, and the streaming ecosystem is, of course, not an exception. And I think the operators and media and all different stakeholders can leverage the potential of AI and ensure more dynamic and personalized operations, retaining their users as well. Great.
Yes.
Srividya, now if we talk about content scheduling, you just mentioned that, everything was so manual back then with in terms of traditional content scheduling. And, it required teams to analyze audience behavior, trends, and optimize programming. Now, Amagi's AI-powered content scheduling solution is designed to automate and optimize channel programming. It leverages machine learning and automation, a smart scheduler to help content teams streamline their scheduling workflows, improve operational efficiency, and drive higher audience engagement and monetization. So, can you walk us through how Amagi's AI stack enables intelligent decision making across programming, monetization, and distribution?
Okay, first I'll talk about how it does through programming. So basically, what it does is our smart scheduler, what it does is it takes from the customer a policy which describes the customer's, I can say, soft and hard constraints in programming the channel. The customer can say that no R-rated content should play in the peak hours, right? Like, or it could be that thriller movies in the prime time. It could be that children movies between 3 to 6 p.m. and so on and so forth. So whatever the rules they have, they specify it, and they could be hard constraints or soft constraints. And the system also takes the content catalog for the channel, and the system then takes the past viewership data. It also takes historic schedules. Now, based on the taste provided by the customer, and based on the asset catalog, and based on the viewership data, historic schedules, and social signals, it automatically uses AI to schedule the channel and give and meet the constraints given by the customer. It also highlights where it could not meet the constraints and gives a visual, look to the whole scheduling, which the customer can review and approve. And once they do that, boom, the scheduling is done. And using this approach, the linear channel can be scheduled for months to quarters together. I have seen one of our customers use it to schedule for 1 quarter at a stretch, right? And it can also dynamically run based on the viewership data. So this is how it works. And this is how it helps in programming. In the case of metadata enrichment, which is used in programming, it reads the content and thereby deciphers the genre, deciphers cast and crew, deciphers a better summary, which should be displayed on when the program is played. And these are all the ways in which it does in programming. In terms of monetization, Amagi's ad flow orchestrator ensures that ads compliant from across fast platforms are used, and it improves the fill rates and the yielding it produces. The third one that it does for distribution is that data-driven insights help in determining which distribution channels to be used, and thereby it achieves the results. Platforms like artwork automation ensures consistent delivery of the creative assets, and together these capabilities provide the system an intelligent way by which content can be programmed, monetized, and distributed.
That's a fascinating deep dive into how AI is no longer just a support layer, but a core engine driving the entire media value chain. And how it's so fascinating to understand how seamlessly these capabilities come together, from predicting audience preferences and optimizing content scheduling to dynamically maximizing ad revenues and ensuring efficient distribution across platforms. Great. Now, of course, when we talk about streaming services, what was once a fight for attention is quickly turning into a battle for retention. With subscribers increasingly juggling multiple services and quick to cancel platforms that don't meet their needs, the average churn rate is a critical metric. High churn is a direct threat to revenue, growth, and long term business stability. So I think the solution here isn't just more content, it's a smarter content delivery that should be powered by a robust data intelligence model. So what role, does data intelligence play in improving viewer engagement and operational efficiency?
Plays a crucial role, Priya. So broadcasters can tailor programming and recommendation based on the granular audience data. We have minute level data of the viewership of the audience, and the audience can be looked at as cohorts, and based on that, the broadcasters can tailor their programs. And ad performance can be optimized via data-driven targeting and campaign adjustments. We can figure out which portion of the content like customers watch it, so it could be in the start of the break, could be in the mid of the break, mid of the content, or it could be the end of the content. And right, operational efficiency improves through better resource allocation and workflow optimization. Data feedback loop allows continuous refinement of content and monetization strategies. This work shifting decision making to measurable and insight driven approach rather than like a guesswork. That's the main thing where data driven intelligence plays a key role.
Definitely, Srividya, I agree with you that, instead of going with your gut or just mere instincts. So data intelligence is moving, is eliminating all the myths that usually stem from such guts and instincts. And it is no longer just a back-end function, but a core driver of both viewer experience and business performance. And, I think I'm glad to understand that how deeply it enables all platforms to move from broad assumptions to more precise, granular, and real time decision making. Now, whether that's personalizing content journeys or optimizing delivery pipelines. Great.
Yes.
Having said that, of course, we have discussed the evolution of streaming platforms, the role of AI. But, I think the gap between AI potential and actual deployment stems from some fundamental challenges in how organizations approach this technology. Like while headlines proclaim an AI revolution, the latest data reveals that fewer than 10% of US companies actively use AI in their production processes. So it's a stark contrast to the perception that AI has already transformed the business landscape. So, what, according to you, are certain key challenges that organizations and companies are facing when adopting AI in their workflows? And how do you think they can overcome them?
Yeah, first is integrating AI into legacy workflows and fragmented technology stacks. That's one of the challenges. Second one is basically concern of people needing to have editorial control and brand integrity. It is important to give them that control. Otherwise, it's very scary, right? And lack of standardized data, metadata standards, skill gap to understand and effectively use the tools, resistance to change from the traditional team members, balancing automation with the human oversight is critical. You don't want to leave it to everything and then figure out that it has gone somewhere wrong, right? Organizations can address these by adopting unified cloud native platforms like Amagi now. Implementing policy driven AI with human in the loop controls is the key way to ensure trust and governance. Continuous training and cross functional collaboration also help in driving adoption.
Definitely, Srividya. And I think the emphasis on building robust data pipelines, investing in scalable cloud native architectures like Amagi, and of course, aligning cross functional teams highlights that. Success lies in orchestration and not just mere adoption of a technology. And of course we need to consider model transparency and ethical considerations just as equal to performance metrics, especially in a space where personalization can directly impact user trust and engagement.
Yes.
Great. So I think Srividya, with our conversation today, I think streaming has become such an essential part of our daily lives, and the rise of modern streaming technology has completely transformed how audiences consume video content, and definitely the momentum shows no signs of slowing down, I feel. Having said that, one last question for you, Srividya. What does the future of streaming look like in the next 5 to 10 years? And will AI continue to redefine the viewer experience?
Yes, streaming will definitely become increasingly AI aware and software defined. The distinction between linear and digital will continue to blur with unified experiences, and it will become highly personalized, curated for individual viewers. Content creation and distribution will be faster. Content itself will be consumed in multiple formats, including vertical formats. Automated media operations will reduce reliance on large operational teams. Monetization will become super important, right, with the data driven strategies. And human AI co-creation will redefine storytelling, blending creativity with intelligent automation. Ultimately, AI will shift this into from reactive workflows to predictive proactive ecosystems.
Thank you, Srividya. And I think as internet connections improve, devices proliferate, and audience expectations evolve, so the future of streaming promises to be more dynamic and interactive than ever before. And I think, the companies that will come out on top are those that are most capable of adapting with the times, staying ahead of emerging trends, and delivering an exceptional customer service. Thank you so much, Srividya, for taking all the time and effort to be on a podcast today and helping us understand that streaming isn't replacing traditional media. It's kind of redefining the future of entertainment. And with advancements in AI and cloud infrastructure, I think streaming platforms are poised to deliver ever more personalized and engaging experiences. And with the kind of challenges that you mentioned, I think it's important that they come out of them and ensure that they are growing scalably and sustainably. Thank you so much, Srividya. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you very much, Priya. It was very good chatting with you.
Thank you so much. So, this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion around the future of streaming, how it is intelligent, interconnected, and eco conscious. And I think it's only just the beginning. We are yet to explore and witness more advancements. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, and you can view all our previous episodes on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.